So, you're looking to upgrade your Nalia commander deck, but you're not quite sure where to start? Well, I'm here to help. My name is Capital G, and welcome to the first 10. Nalia she is the face commander for the new Party Time Precon that just came out with Battle for Baldur's Gate. Pretty cool commander focused in on the party mechanic. So party being, well, let's talk about the card itself first, then I'll explain the mechanic. Black, white, and 1 for this 3/3 human rogue. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard spells from the top of your library. Pretty sweet. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, by the way, is a cleric creature, a rogue creature, a warrior creature, and a wizard creature. So 4 different creatures, each one representing one of these types. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain Death Touch until end of turn. The reason we want to emphasize 4 different creatures, there are changelings in the deck, for example, and those changelings are all creature types, but they can only stand in as a cleric or a rogue or a warrior or a wizard. They cannot represent all 4 on just the 1 creature card. With that clarified, how do we want to upgrade the deck? Well, my approach is that I want to focus more on clerics. The deck comes with a lot of clerics. It comes with a few rogues, a few wizards, and a lot of warriors. But I want to get a few more clerics in there because clerics are very synergistic and very powerful in this color combination. And that is where I want to put my emphasis. We don't necessarily need to have the full party. Yes, it's nice to get those +1/+1 counters. But just the fact that we can cast them off the top of our library and get the value that way is so nice. So let's look at it. What are the first 10 cards I used to upgrade this deck? Well, first thing I want to do is I want to get a couple more of these 2 mana rocks in. The deck only comes with 4 mana rocks. One of them is a soul ring, and then it's got 3 other mana rocks at 2 mana. That's it. It's not a lot. So I wouldn't mind having a couple more in, like a Mind Stone. The diamonds got reprinted. Those would be fine additions as well. Relic Vial, again, I want to focus in on the cleric synergies. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. 3 mana for this artifact, 2 tap, sacrifice a creature to draw a card. Nothing wrong with that at all. And as long as you control a cleric, Relic Vial has, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So we get an aristocrat synergy as well with this. I think that's pretty decent. So creatures, we're going to start adding in a couple of clerics. Selfless Glipweaver, white and 2 for this 2/3 human cleric. We can exile this from the battlefield to give other creatures we control indestructible until end of turn. Nice. Hey, wait, there's a sorcery on the back. It's an MDFC. So depending on what stage of the game we are, if we want the sorcery, we can cast it, and that sorcery is Deadly Vanity. Triple black and 5 for this board wipe. Choose a creature or planeswalker, then destroy all other creatures and planeswalkers. Very much a business end card, this one, just kaboom. The best part is this can, like when this resolves, it hits your graveyard and you still have access to the creature if you want to reanimate it later with something like, say, Tashar. Ancestor's Apostle, white and 3 for this 2/2 bird cleric. Has flying, and whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Just a reminder that artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. And we're going to be adding in some legendaries, of course, such as Taborax, Hope's Demise, from Zendikar Rising, black and 2. I've not seen this creature in the wild yet, which is interesting. It's pretty good. It flies, has lifelink as long as it's got 5 or more +1/+1 counters on it. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 counter on Taborax. If that creature was a cleric, you may draw a card, and if you do, lose a life. Sure, I'll trade a point of life for an extra card. Thank you very much. We do want to maintain our numbers of wizards, rogues, and warriors. So, one card that we could swap in is the Valiant Changeling. White, white, and 5 for this shapeshifter. It costs 1 less to cast for each creature type among creatures you control. Like, our deck is already centered around at least 4, and even then, it doesn't count the fact that we have demons, we have humans, we have birds. So this is often coming down for double white in our game plan. Pretty sweet. It's a changeling, so it can be any creature type. It can represent any member of our party, and it has double strike. Especially handy when you have the Death Touch and all those extra +1/+1 counters. One rogue I do want to add to the deck is Zentaran Bandit. For 2 mana, we get a 2/1 halfling rogue, and when this attacks, we may pay life. If we do, create a treasure token. And it's pretty easy to negotiate getting that treasure token. You can be like, hey, I can deal with that problem, but I need to hit you for 2. And most of the time people will say yes. A few instants, because there's not a whole lot of interaction in the deck, do consider Deadly Alliance. It's a 5 mana targeted removal spell, but it costs 1 less for each member of your party. So this can go all the way down to 1 black, or could be black and 1 more often than not. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Pretty efficient. I'm also considering a Fracture for this deck. Black and white to destroy an artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. Especially with backgrounds. We'll see if it takes off in the constructed format, but with all of the new background commanders, being able to remove enchantments pretty quickly will prove important. And lastly, a Malakir Rebirth. We're running 37 lands. We've got lots of basics. We can probably spare a couple of basics in order to put in some MTFC spells. And if we do, Malakir Rebirth will be the first one I want to put in. So we can either cast it as a spell. In this case, for 1 black, we can choose a creature. We lose 2 life. And until the end of the turn, that creature, if it would die, would return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Alternatively, if it's too early in the game for such shenanigans, we can always play it as a Malakir Mire. And that, folks, is our first 10. First 10 cards I would consider for upgrading the Party Time Commander deck. So with that in mind, hope you all enjoyed that. I'm going to do one for each of the precons. I'm going to record them over the course of the week. I'm not going to tell you what to take out. I would recommend, in this case, taking out a couple of the rogues. Or maybe you could spare a warrior or 2, but you definitely want to try and maintain the party balance without taking out any clerics. We definitely want to really emphasize the clerics with these proposed upgrades. So with that in mind, I will see you on the next episode of the first 10. Catch you then. Bye for now.